Good day to you, ladies, and welcome back to Thankful Thriftiness. So after watching the movie Paddington, which is one of my favorites, it's so adorable, I decided I simply had to have a Marmalade day. If you haven't seen Paddington, you must go watch it, and then I promise you, if you don't hate marmalade, you are going to have a Marmalade day as well, which is what this video is here for. Now, the necessity of a Marmalade day came upon me in the middle of winter, which turned out to be the perfect time to learn how to can. It warmed up my entire house, and just having the bright orange and yellows brought such a cheery glow to the whole atmosphere, and the citrusy smell made me think of summer and made me feel very warm inside. So although you can can marmalade any time of year, I suggest doing it in the winter, although it might seem strange that I'm publishing this video in the summer. But I thought now would be a good time since a lot of people are beginning canning, or getting the urge to can, like myself, although not all the fruits and veggies are ready for it yet. As soon as I decided that I must have a Marmalade day, I set out on a hunt to find the perfect recipe. I ended up kind of mashing together two different recipes I found, one from the Pioneer Woman's blog, and the other from Babish Culinary Universe, who was also inspired to make marmalade after watching Paddington. And the guy's got like over 9 million followers. So for those of you who think I'm crazy, cheerio. Either way, I'll link both recipes down below. The way I mashed the two together was I used the Pioneer Woman's recipe, but I also added cinnamon, which she did not call for, but I really enjoyed the extra depth of flavor it gave the marmalade. This was my first time canning by myself, and it went a whole lot smoother than I thought it would. Mainly, I just tried to make sure I sterilized everything and cooked everything according to the directions. So here's how to have your very own marmalade day. Begin by thoroughly washing and thinly slicing 3 pounds of oranges and 1 lemon. A lot of people recommend using Seville oranges. I couldn't find any, so I just used navel oranges. Either works, although I'm sure that if I could have found Seville oranges, it would have given it a little bit more of that classic marmalade flavor, but I was perfectly pleased with what I was able to create just using navel oranges. Slice the oranges as thinly as possible. I then quartered them. I found that a lot of people enjoyed the chunkiness of the marmalade, but others would have preferred something a little bit more finely diced. So it's really personal preference, up to you. Whatever you choose to do, it will be absolutely delicious. Once your citrus is sliced to perfection, combine with 6 cups of water in a large pot. Bring your marmalade mixture to a boil, then reduce the heat, cover, and let simmer for 30 minutes. Then uncover and allow it to simmer for an additional 15 minutes, stirring occasionally until your citrus is very soft. Now it's time to begin the marmalade magic. Raise your mixture back up to a boil and add 6 cups of sugar, stirring until well combined. Let the marmalade boil until it reaches 220 degrees Fahrenheit. This can take around 30 minutes. At this point, you need to really keep a close eye on the marmalade. You want it to darken slightly, but not burn. I definitely undercooked my first batch. My second batch, I was really careful and a little bit more brave and allowed it to get a little bit darker. And it was definitely much more rich than the first batch. The way to check whether your marmalade has fully worked its magic is to place a small amount on a chilled plate for 30 seconds. It should have formed into a soft gel that moves slightly. If it hasn't, return it to the pot until it's boiled into the correct consistency. Your marmalade is now ready for either instant enjoyment or canning. Remember, an apple a day keeps the doctor away, not 3 pounds of oranges and a whole lot of sugar. So please don't consume it all in one sitting, although you may be tempted. Please refer to the recipe down below for more thorough canning instructions. But here's the basic overview. Begin by bringing your canner to a boil and sterilizing your jars. This is so important as you do not want any bacteria to get inside of your canned goods. That can be very dangerous. That's why it's so important to sterilize your jars and make sure that whatever you're canning is piping hot before you begin the process. Also be sure to sterilize the lids and the rings alongside the jars for 10 minutes. As soon as the sterilizing process is complete, remove the jars, lids, and rings to a clean towel and let the water in the pot reduce to a simmer. Now it is time to fill your jars. Make sure that your marmalade is very hot. You kind of have to play with the timing here to make sure your marmalade is ready right around when your jars are sterilized. You want the jars to still be hot because that will allow the glass not to crack when coming into contact with hot marmalade. When filling the jars, leave a minimum of a 1/4 inch headspace and wipe off the rims to ensure a perfect seal. Add the lids and the rings to the jars and tighten. You don't have to tighten it very hard, just finger tight is fine. It is not necessary to wrench on the jars. Now carefully lower your jars into the simmering water bath of your canner. The water should be about 1 inch or 2 above your jars when they're all in the pot. Allow your marmalade to simmer in the canner for 15 minutes. As soon as they are done, remove your jars very carefully and place on a clean towel. The next day, press on the top of your canning jar lids to make sure they have sealed properly. If they spring back when you press them, make sure to place them in the fridge right away and eat them within the next couple of weeks. Those that have sealed properly can be placed in your larder. And that's it! You've just had yourself a marmalade day. All that's left is to enjoy some of this golden deliciousness. My preferred method and a classic way to enjoy marmalade is atop fresh English muffins. Please let me know in the comments below what other recipes or canning projects you'd like to see me feature on this channel. Also, are you a lifelong fan of any particular adorable cartoon character? For me, honestly, my allegiance lies with Winnie the Pooh, but Paddington is really an adorable addition that I actually found later in life. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Cheers.